Foo Fighters put on an incredible star-studded show celebrating the life and work of their bandmate Taylor Hawkins in front of thousands of fans at London's Wembley Stadium. And with so many amazing performances across the nearly 6-hour show, we thought we'd round up 10 of the biggest moments from this very special tribute concert. First up, the show opened with a compilation of Taylor pictures from the archive before Foo Fighters frontman Dave Grohl addressed the crowd alongside his bandmates.
For those of you who knew him personally, you know that no one else can make you smile, or laugh, or dance, or sing like he could. And for those of you that admired him from afar, I'm sure you've all felt the same thing.
This led into a 2-track performance by Liam Gallagher, backed by the Foo Fighters, running through Oasis classics Rock and Roll Star and Live Forever. On being asked to play the show itself, Liam said, "I met Taylor a few times and we kept in touch often. He was a top lad, an amazing musician, and it's an absolute honour and privilege to open the show at Wembley." A whole host of very special guests would appear through the show, including Wolfgang Van Halen, The Darkness's Justin Hawkins, members of Rush, and in a truly jaw-dropping moment, AC/DC frontman Brian Johnson performed Back in Black alongside the Foo Fighters and Metallica drummer Lars Ulrich. Several of Taylor's drumming heroes were also present at the event, including the Police's Stuart Copeland, who said he was the connecting tissue for all brothers of the stick because he was such a fan of anyone who ever banged a drum. A force of nature like him just isn't supposed to stop. I wish he could come back. Taylor previously cited Stuart as one of his major mentors, along with Queen's Roger Taylor, in this clip from our archive interview.
Roger's great. He's been like a mentor to me in a lot of ways through the years. If I've ever had any questions about like, well, should I do this or should I do that? I mean, what do you think, Roger? What would you do? You know, he's quick to give me his opinion and his advice, and it's usually pretty much on the money. And then Stuart's someone I met a little later, but he's always been wonderful to me, and he knows how much I love his drumming, and we've actually done BBC shows together and stuff like that. We've done a lot of fun little things together, and he's a dear friend. I mean, as well as another one of my mentors. So I was lucky in that those two guys who were so important to me as a forming musician, drummer, have been so gracious to me with their time.
Queen's Brian May and Roger Taylor were also among the performers and were joined by a number of vocalists, including surprise guest Sam Ryder, who performed Somebody to Love, which Taylor would cover on stage during Foo Fighters shows.
And I think it might have been Roger that had this idea. Was this your bright idea? This is your idea. Sure was. Roger showed us a clip of someone singing along to this next song. And we made one phone call, and within 20 minutes, this person told us that he would come here tonight to sing it with us. So would you please welcome the most amazing vocalist, Sam Ryder, come up to sing with us tonight.
Solo acoustic version of Love of My Life, encouraging fans to light up Wembley with their phones, creating this incredible view. Foo Fighters themselves took to the stage for a full set to close the show, beginning with an emotional and touching version of the classic single Times Like These.
It's times like these. It's times like this to love again. It's times like this, time again.
The band were backed by a variety of guest drummers during their set, including Blink-182's Travis Barker on The Pretender and Monkey Wrench. He said, "Taylor and I go way back to our days in Laguna Beach together. He was a dear friend and brother to me, and it will be a huge honor to be able to pay tribute to him." Another guest drummer was 12-year-old Nandi Bushell, who famously challenged Dave Grohl to an online drum battle during lockdown. She joined the band on Learn to Fly, saying, "Taylor was the greatest role model I could ever have had. I only met him for a short time, but he made such a massive impact on my life. Taylor was a true hero, kind, loving, generous, and awesome." Another surprise guest came late in the show when Sir Paul McCartney stopped by for a duet with The Pretenders' Chrissie Hynde and an energetic Helter Skelter. As the evening drew to its climax, there were several more emotional moments as the band performed Aurora, taken from the album There Is Nothing Left to Lose, said to be Taylor's favourite ever Foo Fighters song. And in perhaps the show's biggest highlight, Taylor's son Shane sat behind the kit, joining the band for a run-through of My Hero. Dave described him on stage as one of the loudest drummers he had ever heard. Grohl closed out the show with Everlong before the full, incredible lineup of musicians returned on stage for one final bow. A second tribute concert is set to take place in Los Angeles on September 27th. That's your Rock Sound News Update. I've been James Wilson Taylor. We will see you again soon.